Hey, we're back, answering questions no one asked. In my previous video, I read over 30 scientific journals about human poop to answer how many calories are in a magic card. So today I want to address a similar question: how many calories are in the card? There are currently 26 different food tokens in Magic the Gathering, from delicious morsels like this one from Unfinity to this one from Wilds of Eldraine, which will almost certainly send you to the hospital. At first glance, it's clear that not all food is made equal. Yet as a game mechanic, apparently all food is equivalent to 3 life. This has some crazy lore implications, but more importantly, I'm deranged, and it means we can open a discussion about how much food you need to eat to gain 1 life. My name is Arkosa and I make videos about magic trivia and design. If you could go ahead and slap that like button and subscribe to my channel, it would help me out so much. I appreciate it. The best way to approach this problem is to rank all the food by calorie. To do so, I went through the artwork for all 26 printings of food and used the combined power of nutrition data and cursed math to answer our question today. There's no methodology, and I just went with what felt right. This first section goes through all the food that's below 2,000 calories. Starting at the least calorically dense foods, number 26 and 25 both depict the fictional beverage Nuka-Cola from the Universes Beyond Fallout release. In the World of Refreshment tour in Fallout 4, Nuka-Cola is described as a delicious soft drink that would provide energy, focus, and 120% of the recommended daily value of sugar. If we go by international standards, this is approximately 60 grams of sugar, which makes a single bottle of classic Nuka-Cola 232 calories. Nuka-Cola Quantum, on the other hand, is less common in the games, but the running gag describes it as twice the calories, twice the carbohydrates, twice the caffeine, and twice the taste. Doctor Who's cheese and pickle sandwich comes in at number 24, which I estimated using a regular grilled cheese recipe. 2 slices of bread, 2 ounces of cheese, a tablespoon of butter, and a negligible amount of calories from pickles totals to 531 calories. This one from Lord of the Rings was difficult to evaluate. A skillet full of bacon is around 380 calories, and a pint of beer is around 200. As for the rest, I wasn't sure what this dish was, so if anyone knows if this comes from a specific scene or recipe, let me know. I estimate a conservative 860 calories. Fish fingers and custard from Doctor Who sits at number 20. I didn't include these in the foreground, but a single fish stick is 160 calories. As for the custard, I went and looked for the brands they likely used on set, and estimated that this whole ordeal is 949 calories. These 2 foods were difficult to evaluate because the art doesn't tell us much about what's in the bowls. Both depict some form of vegetable stew with bread, so the best I could do was guess between 400 and 600 calories of bread and 300 to 400 of soup. This one is slightly more energetic because it has an extra 200 or so calories of meat. And this doesn't include the frog because I couldn't find definitive data on its caloric content. 2 oranges, an apple, and 1 pomegranate is around 463 calories, but 2 curly bananas, which I valued around the mass of 5 to 6 regular bananas, add an extra 600 or so calories. I couldn't find any reason why they're curly, but hey, it's fun. Don't forget about the strawberries under the text box, and we get a total of 1,120 calories. English jelly babies contain 21.75 calories per candy, and I estimate around 60 in this image, for a total of 1,305. I've never had one, and since I like gummy bears, I'm genuinely curious if any Brit could let me know what these are like. From Unfinity, I used the size of these cherries to estimate that this funnel cake is around 8 3/4 inches in diameter. With powdered sugar, this is around 700 calories. Adding the ice cream and toppings is another 485 calories. The only issue then is whatever this red stuff is. Based on the flavor text of one of the food producers in Unfinity, it could be Glurgine Galactopod. Though your guess is as good as mine. And lastly, our final food under 2,000 calories is somewhat debatable. This one features a bowl of onion soup, which I valued at 170 calories, around 60 calories of produce, and an eyeball. Normally, I wouldn't have bothered calculating this, but I figured that the eye is a really important part of this dish. Assuming a mass of 8 grams, 11% protein by weight, and 31% fat, we can estimate that a human eyeball is around 26 calories. Altogether, this is only 256, but the background contains an entire loaf of bread, which is more than 4 times the calories of everything else in the picture. It's up to you if you want to include it. Our next section covers all the food between 2,000 and 5,000 calories. This is where we transition from simple meals to serving entire parties. The breakdown for this one from Bloomborough is on screen. There's nothing too out of the ordinary here. The bulk of the 2389 calories come from this cup of almonds and these apple pastries. This dessert basket from Eldraine isn't too far ahead. The breakdown for this is also on screen and totals to 2410 calories. But be careful because there's a big bad wolf watching you as you eat it. In this one from Wilds of Eldraine, we can easily assign around 280 calories to the lollipop and a total of 17 calories for the strawberries. But what the heck is this? Estimating it as 15 cups of lime jello could make it fall anywhere between 900 and 2800 calories. I'm not sold on this because it's probably more likely that it'll end up eating you. Going back to Unfinity, I went through and counted the number of patties, slices of cheese, tomato, lettuce, and bun to evaluate this as a beef cheeseburger. Adding a side of curly fries and a large soda makes this a total of 3255 calories. Not as bad as I thought. 3/4 a rack of mutton, bread, 4 mini cupcakes, a slice of blueberry pie, and a liter of beer to wash it all down sits around 3,306 calories. Number 10 depicts some good stuff. 6 soup dumplings, 2 egg rolls, a bowl of ramen, tofu, and fish. This is a Lunar New Year scene, so the center depicts a celebratory dish known as a prosperity toss. I estimate 3,761 calories for the total spread. We're not eating the rabbits. Here's one that really tests our definition of food. This is a depiction of an orc from Lord of the Rings caught in the webs of Shelob's lair. Shelob is a giant spider, and spiders feed on the internal juices of their prey. Orcs are full of blood, and blood can be broken down into macronutrients. Given these average values for a human male, we can approximate the calories per liter of blood. Assuming an average volume of 5 liters, we get 3,728 calories. However, this only covers liquids already present and doesn't account for the fact that spiders liquefy their prey too. I have no clue how to calculate this, so let's just leave this here. Oh, but the caloric content of spiderwebs is published, so let's include that. This food from Wilds of Eldraine wouldn't be too crazy calorically, considering all these carbs and a large cup of milk. What I didn't expect is that a single ostrich egg contains 2,000 calories on its own, accounting for almost half of this meal, which sits at just over 4,000 calories. These two are conceptually very similar. 3 quails, 15 quail eggs, and a pork head add up to 4,470 calories, while a roast this size plus all the garniture is approximately 4,865 calories. This Hobbit charcuterie board is almost entirely bread and spread. With around 6 slices of cheese and 4 medium sausages, I estimate this to be almost 5,000 calories. For the final 4 foods, we're making an insane jump to 8,000 calories or more. This one is from the Outlaws of Thunder Junction release. Based on the size of a US standard number 300 can, I estimate this cauldron to have a capacity of around 20 quarts. Evaluating the soup as a tomato soup at 100 calories per cup, this makes up 8,000 calories. But it does look a bit thick for that, so maybe it's closer to a gumbo. The cactus leaf, eyeball, and scorpion are included in the soup and aren't calorically dense. But we can't forget about this chocolate croissant. At number 3, this token from Throne of Eldraine is the first food token ever indexed in Magic the Gathering. At first glance, it's an unassuming pie, but knowing that it's from the same set that introduced the card Baked into a Pie, there's probably a dude in there. That aside, this pie is also massive. Evaluating this as a meat pie, we can estimate the volume using the diameter of the average apple. Multiply this by the caloric content of meat pie, and we get a tremendous 10,799 calories. In this video, we started with Fallout and we nearly end with Fallout. At number 2, this food token displays the power of processed foods. Counting the number of cans and boxes of in-game food, we can use the real-life counterparts for Cram, Greasy Prospector Pork and Beans, Blamco Mac and Cheese, and Instamash. This box of sugar bombs is said to contain 100% of the daily recommended amount of sugar. Multiplying this by the cereal average of 11 servings per box gives 2,134 calories per box. The only difficult part was evaluating these boxes of Fancy Lad snack cakes. Luckily, the official Fallout cookbook has a recipe we can use to estimate the contents of these boxes. Add these all up and we get a total of 17,163 calories. And finally, our number 1 spot might be a bit controversial. This token from Modern Horizons 3 is the food produced by Sorin Ravenous Neonate, meaning that it takes place on Innistrad, the plane of werewolves, zombies, monsters, and/or cannibals, all of which eat humans. Based on the context, the food here isn't the actual food, but, well, you know. Anyway, the average human male is 180 pounds or 81.6 kilograms. To divide this up into macronutrients, we assume a value of 12% fat and 20% protein by weight. Then add 600 grams of carbs in the form of glycogen stored in the liver and muscles. Using these values for the standard conversions, we can estimate one of the most cursed numbers of all time. We'll ignore the rest of the table for now, but we do need to take into account that a vampire has already fed here, so we'll subtract our value of blood calories from earlier to get a final total of 152,154 calories. So now we know the general rankings of all the food tokens currently in the game. Going back to the beginning, if we want to address how much food we need to eat to gain 1 life, the most efficient food is Nuka-Cola at a rate of 77 calories per life. The least efficient way involves eating 50,718 calories per life, but ignoring the outlier, eating the rest of the Fallout foods gets us a life for every 5,721 calories. In general, the average value is 1,158.8, but it might be better to use the median of 803.3 calories per life. I'm not sure what you can do with this information, but I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit the like button before you go and subscribe for more fun stuff. A huge thanks to Ren and Rextifer for supporting me on Patreon. See you next time.